Hello YouTube, we are back again with the Lost cartoon episodes, and this one is actually named hilariously bad Lost cartoon episodes, but I'm sure that's no different from the other ones. Before we continue this video, viewers' discretion is advised. I'd rather these videos are for ages 13 above. But without further ado, let's move on with the video. Before we do though, this is the last episode of this series. So leave that in the comments if you liked this series. Now, without further ado, let's get on with this video.
Sometimes I talk about Lost episode creepypastas, and they can actually be pretty scary, but today is different. Instead of going over relatively nightmarish ones, I'll be reading two hilariously bad Lost episode stories that will make you laugh instead of screaming in terror. These are bad because they're either not scary at all or incredibly cliche. Now, I don't mean any offense to the people who actually made these creepypastas because this is all in good fun. Also, I will be reading the stories in their entirety, so it's still the author's work without my modifications or summary. With that being said, let's get on to two hilariously bad Lost cartoon episodes. First up is a Loud House one called Lost VHS Tape. I always saw the Loud House on Nickelodeon. This became one of my favorite shows, and I made a schedule to record every episode. So I thought to myself, could there be any Loud House DVDs or VHS tapes? So I headed to the movie store and I went to the aisle where the TV shows have episodes on them. When I went to this aisle, there were numerous DVDs and VHS tapes. I bought 2 SpongeBob DVDs that had every season 1 and 2 episodes since I also liked SpongeBob. But I found this VHS tape of the Loud House called The Loud House, Volume 666. The back only had 6 episodes. The last episode was called Unknown. I watched the tape and it had the normal intro until the title card had a white background with Lincoln's head, but all of a sudden he was all colored in a jet black with scorching fire in his eyes. Side note, there's a lot of run-on sentences. This is really bothering me. Then it showed Lincoln going in his room and saying, "Well, today is the first day of summer and it's time to read my comics in my undies." After that title card showed examples like 1 day later, 2 months later, or 3 weeks later. The title card said 10 minutes later, then their parents Rita and Senior Lynn went out to their ballroom dancing and telling them to lock the door. But like in normal episode, they will not lock the door, but Lenny locks the door, which is strange considering they don't lock the door. Then the next scene was Lenny making an announcement, then she called her siblings. She told everyone, "I'm stupid and I do realize it now, making me a loser." That was the point when out of nowhere she grabbed a gun. Everybody told her, "Don't do it," until Lenny's eyes turned bloodshot red, until a voice in her head said, "Do it." Then she shot herself in mouth. Then static occurred for the last 25 seconds. Then the show came back on. It showed a screenshot of Lenny with blood coming out of her mouth, the nose with the back of her head blown up while the Lincoln and the sisters screamed for their life, and I was at the verge of vomiting. The next couple of days, Lisa was making an experimental bomb when she combined every liquid she had in her small tube jars. She called everyone with a hard object such as a chair, but when this explosion happened, the window was somehow opened, and when the explosion happened, it sent her flying. But when she was about to hit the road pavement, a truck hits Lisa's back, causing her to break her spine as a crack noise happened. When she hit the road pavement, she started crying with blood coming from her eyes and mouth. Lincoln and his sisters came to see what happened and started crying. Lori called the police and ER, and they came, and sadly she was pronounced dead at the scene. Okay, no, I cannot do this. I really thought at the start of this video I could read this entire creepypasta, but I just cannot do it. This Loud House one in particular has so many run-on sentences, so many problems with grammar, and nothing in it makes sense. This is not at all how the Loud House characters would act. Okay, I'm just going to read the last paragraph and then move on to the next story. After that, Luann was making a video for her website and grabbed a gun and said, "What do you call a slingshot with a gun? A gunslinger, ha ha ha," until she accidentally shot herself. Lincoln and Lynn stormed in and screamed. They saw the video and they were horrified and was buried at the cemetery along with Lenny, Lisa, Luna, Lori, Lana, and Lola. Lynn decided to sleep with Lincoln until they went to one of Lynn's roller derbies, and when she made a flip, she landed on her neck, breaking her neck. Lincoln and his mom crying, Lincoln's mom told him to sleep with him until he stabbed his mom and threw his stuff and other stuff around. After that, he said 3 last sentences. I have made this. I was the cost. And finally, Jesus had abandoned us. Until he shot himself, until a note came up saying this episode was made by an unknown person in Syria. It was founded in an abandoned building in a room, and there was a drawer with a VHS, a picture of Lincoln, and a bag of intestines with a picture of disfigured person similar to Chris Savino. I had nightmares for days, and it will be the time I will never forget. Bravo, that was a fantastic creepypasta. I know I didn't read the whole thing, but oh my god, that was insane! So many twists and turns! Let's move on now. Next up is a bad lost cartoon episode called SpongeBob Episode 0. One of my movies was a little heavy, like there were more than 1 disc in there, so I popped open the case and surely enough there were 4 discs crammed in there. The first 2 were Lion King movies. The next was a Finding Nemo special features disc. Then there was 1 DVD that was blank and it simply said SpongeBob Episode 0. Now I have my fair share in liking SpongeBob and I never remember an Episode 0. So I did what anyone else would do and I popped it into my DVD player. The title screen was plain. I pressed on the episode and it started immediately. The title card said Episode 0. It was weird because it was a very dark themed title and it was silent. The episode started with SpongeBob sitting in the diner and he looked very sad. He didn't make any noise and the audio was silent. It then cut to a mangled corpse of Sandy and it cut back to SpongeBob sitting on his bed and the audio was now on. You could hear a very bone-chilling, yes it says bine not bone, a very bone-chilling crying like as if someone knew they were about to die. But SpongeBob didn't move. He just sat there and the crying got louder. It then cut to showing Patrick crying in front of SpongeBob's house, but this only lasted for about 3 seconds. Oddly enough, it then shows Patrick, Squidward, Mr. Krabs, and surprisingly Sandy standing in front of a gravestone. They all looked very sad and you could hear blood-curdling screams coming from the audio. Then we approach the final scene and it cuts to show SpongeBob and Patrick standing side by side. Their eyes were black and expanded and the only 2 colors in this picture is red and black. A demonic voice then said, "Smiling is the mask of the suffering." Then it cuts to black and you then see Bikini Bottom explode. Then the episode ends and the credits are quick and silent. Okay, honestly, that wasn't just bad, that was pretty boring. It didn't really make any sense that Bikini Bottom just exploded in the end. I don't know exactly what was happening. I really tried to pay attention to this one, but I don't think I understand much. And I'm really regretting I read this now, but yeah. That was one bad lost episode. But anyway, that's all for this video. Subscribe for more awesome cartoon videos.
So, that's it. That is the last episode of the Creepiest, the lost cartoon episodes. The next thing that I will be starting on is my Sonic Adventure Plus series. I just need a little bit of help on what I should do. So yeah, that was that. I'm trying to go through here and make sure there isn't anything that I may have forgotten. What the heck is that? She's been down there yelling for a few minutes now. Anyhow, yeah, I don't think I'm really forgetting anything. But, I will see you guys in my next video, but unfortunately it won't be for the last cartoon episodes. It will be on my Sonic Adventure Plus series. Peace.